What's up everybody and welcome back to my channel, and this is Cherry. Good morning everyone and welcome back to my channel, and this is Cherry. Right, so it has been ages since I made my last video about my reflection after spending 10 months in the UK. So some of you probably know that I have just finished my master program, and I'm so pleased to say that I'm gonna graduate with distinction. So in this video, that will be what I think we should do before, during and after our module start. So for the education system, UK education system, particularly for the master program, there are 3 categories for the degree classification, which are pass, merit and distinction. And yeah, I got the highest one. I know that it might sound pretty insignificant to some of you, but I think not everybody can do it, and this video is still useful for some of you, and that's why I make it. What I'm going to say are not tips or tricks or methods, because definitely I'm nothing. I'm just your friends, but it's like you can think, right, so that worked for her, so that might work for me. And yeah, and even though if you are not currently pursuing higher education, I think you can feel relate at some point. Alright, without further ado, let's get started. So before the beginning of your modules, I think you should search the keyword on the Google. For example, if I am going to study the modules named Developmental Psychology, I'm going to go to the Google and search Developmental Psychology. I'm going to say Developmental Psychology. Yeah, so this one is journal, so I will go for this one. And by this way, you will have quite brief overview about what you are going to study. And by looking at here, you will see you might study about the growth, change and consistency through the lifespan. You are going to study about thinking, feeling, behavior change throughout a person's life. And look here, you will see there's some related articles, and actually they are all the key theories that you are going to study. For example, Piaget, Vygotsky, Brunner, attachment theory, John Bowlby, theory of mind, moral development and self-concept. And number 2, if you can email your module lead about the reading list of the module. And I think this is also a way for you to say hello to him or to her. And then when you have it, just pick one book. I think we should not do some pages on this book and do some other pages on the other book, because that might make it feel like overwhelmed with lots of information, confused and like easily give up. So just do one book, do it seriously. And when you think that you might need more explanation about a particular topics, you can search for it on the Google or YouTube, and by that way you will have more overview about what you are going to study. What topic that you think is really difficult, what topic that you might think is really interesting and you want to pick them for your assignments. So during your studies, number 1, you should do the pre-reading. If there is any test or reading that need to be done before the class time, you should do it. You should make some note, take some note, highlight some keywords, prepare some questions. And besides that, you should spend extra time on learning about the topics that you are interested in and might choose them as an assignment topic. And number 2, always read the module's outcomes and aims and assignment requirements as soon as possible. And by that way, you will know exactly how you are going to be assessed and what next steps need to be done so that you can get your assignment successful. You can also have plenty of time to ask questions, clarify about things that you don't understand, and get support if needed. Do not leave things until the last minute. Alright, so number 3 is stay involved. I think you should make sure that you do not feel left behind in your class. because I always believe that if you feel like you're left behind, your study gets worse, and when your study gets worse, you're left behind. So it's just a circle. So I often try to set goals for myself to ask at least 1 question every lectures and at least 3 questions every seminar. And by that way, I will keep myself like stay focused and try to produce any questions I can during the class time. And I also try to make sure that I sit in front of the lecture hall, not like at the back of the lecture hall. And by that way, I feel like more connected with the teacher, with the lecturer, and do not like get distracted with some notification from social media. So after the modules, you might think that you already finished, but I think you should look at the tutor feedback to know how you can make improvement for the next module. For example, in one module, my tutor said that some of my references were out of date. So in the next module, I asked my tutor, and he said that reference should be within 20 years. But if I was going to talk about theories, and some of them might be developed like some decades ago, so that's fine, but try to get like research up to date as much as possible. And you also might like have a look at the outcome to see if you have already achieved the outcome or not, and how you can reflect it in your assignment. And finally, send an email to your tutor. This does not lead to a distinction grade, but I think it's a good way to show that you appreciate your tutor. You can also give him some feedbacks about what you really like about his class, and he also might give you some feedback about what he felt impressed about you as well. And yeah, that's basically what I did during my program. And if you're like me, working and studying at the same time, we need to manage our time effectively. Alright, the video is a bit long now, so I will save more interesting content for the next video. Thank you and have a lovely weekend.